All right, let's see. Let's try this out here. Go on into talk. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Those that are checking it out, today is going to be an interesting day. Okay, we're on the East Coast right now, and it's just water, nothing specific, just water. And we're going to simply do one thing, which is just water. We're going to talk about a few things. Okay. Those of you that know who I am, I'm Brother Jay, top to bottom. Top to bottom is TOP number 2 BOTTUM.com. Just bear with me because I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm pushing forward. All right. So one of the things I want to, or rather a few of the things that we're going to chit chat about is how you see, do we think too much? Now, many people believe that when you have a business, all you want to do is sell. Sell. That's their concept. That's their belief. And by the way, everybody, give a big warm welcome to the Queen of Queens, the CEO, the formulator creator behind TopToBottom.com, T to B. She is joining us.
Hey, y'all.
Give a little shout out.
Top to bottom at you.
And it's going to be something real simple. Hopefully, those that do come in, they're going to actually enjoy it, understand what we're doing as well. Because at the end of the day, sit. Yeah, the puppy is acting up again. It doesn't like the fact that it's, we're our attention is going someplace else. All right, so what we're gonna, as you see the banner, it says, "Do we think too much?" Now that the Queen of Queens is here, she might be able to join in and understand and give some points of view behind what we're going to talk about. I'm going to take my glasses off just for tonight. Don't want that glitter to be bouncing back and forth. So, as I mentioned before, we've talked about this countless amount of times. What is the purpose of, or what was the root or the nucleus, the creation of Top to Bottom? Top to Bottom's creation was due to a personal journey that needed to be, would the right word be repaired or fixed, or what do you would say is the better word for it?
To alleviate, to develop a solution for a condition that was ongoing and quite frankly debilitating.
Okay. We know that society, well, this is going to be kind of funny at times. We know society has this wonderful thing of always listening to another person before they do something. Yet, they don't like to be told what's best for them. So what's interesting to me is that as we continue planting seeds in society, male, female, 8 to 80, 8 to 90, 8 to 100, we advise, we let them know, we talk about things, we talk about our own personal journeys, we talk about how products actually affect people, how products, major companies have made people ill over many, many years. And it seems to be that people still do not like and or do not feel comfortable with live people like ourselves that are small business and advising them and showing them how to make things a little bit better for themselves. Yet, I always say it's always funny as heck. People go to the doctor, they go to the doctor's office, whoever it is, male or female, the doctor says, "Do you have any questions?" And the person automatically turns around and says, "Nah, I'm good." And then yet trying to figure out why they still sick for 6 months to 6 years.
And it's interesting you said that, because when I was in the healthcare field on the not customer, but patient level, being a medical assistant in the gynecology world, it's interesting you said that, because that exactly is what happens. There are times where the doctor would express something. I would notice that the patient really was not comfortable with what was being said, or did not understand what was being stated. And they would not question it. They would either just do and just go on and just continue to be uncomfortable, be sick. And I remember telling a patient that you have to be your own advocate and you have to do the research. You know, it's your body, one body, one life.
Right. Now, you being in the medical field, and as many people that do know me, they know I was a career student, which means I was studying, learning about almost everything and anything that I could find out.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the biggest things that I've found out throughout all the years of me talking to folks,
Mm-hmm.
the big thing is that they want it easy, but they don't want to work hard for it.
This is very true. They want it easy. And I believe that's what a lot of corporations bank on. They already know that. They have people in their think tank that
Mhm.
knows that that is how a lot of human nature is, especially nowadays. They've been slowly conditioned to be like that. And a lot of the damage that's been done has happened over the years. It's happened chronically. And then now we want a quick solution. And then that's where, all the toxins and the pharmaceuticals and all the other weird things that are introduced into our lives, because it's quick. A quick pseudo result.
Interesting word that you chose there, pseudo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the psychology field, there's this terminology that was quite fascinating to me when I took up psychology.
Mm-hmm.
It was called pseudo pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Pseudo pregnancy was something that many, many people did not believe in.
That actually happened to me.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Like you feel the symptoms, right?
Right.
But there's no result.
There is.
Like maybe in your mind you really wanted it, and then you actually start feeling like.
Yes. You actually go through every single symptom of pregnancy.
Even down to missing a period.
Yes.
Yep.
Every single thing.
Yep.
And what's amazing about that, being that you use that word, that pseudo concept, in business psychology, which a lot of people don't know, that there isn't such a thing as called business psychology, the term pseudo is used as well. Mm-hmm. Yet it's used in a way that people really don't catch on to what the word is. Because many years ago, there was this idea that was thrown out that people may not have realized, and it's still happening to this day. I'm going to give you two. I'm gonna show my age, of course. Two situations. There was a cowboy, of course, true cowboy, white hat, all the way decked down with the boots and all, smoking a cigarette. And many people went out and bought those cigarettes because they had the belief in their mind that if they smoked that cigarette, that's how society was going to see them.
Image.
This is true.
Image.
Correct. Then, of course, car manufacturers invested billions of dollars into a commercial with a red Corvette parked in a dealership, and a woman, specific type of woman, wearing a bathing suit standing next to it.
Exactly.
Which gave the illusion that if you drove that car, that's the kind of woman you're going to have.
And then also another one was the movie stars. Remember back in the day when you were talking about the cigarettes?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would have the little cigarette inside the holder, and you know,
inside the holder, the gloves,
really glamorous. And then you had the commercials with the men in the lab suit, the lab coat, saying that this is something that's good for you.
Right.
And a new word that we would hear to mirror that statement today would be the science. Listen to the science.
Listen to the science.
And then 5 years later on, you find, or 10 years later on, you find out that this was something that was either causing some type of cancer or some type of illness or something to that nature.
Right. And I'm glad you said the science. So one of the funny things I realized as well over the course of the years, listening to people, talking to people, trying to get an understanding of what people were really focusing on when it came to either A, getting better.
Oh, we got Dr. Linda, Professor Lovely Lady.
Thank you for joining.
Hi.
Appreciate you coming by and stopping in. Hopefully you can actually put some of your verbiage and your expertise behind some of the things that we're talking about. The reason why I'm squinting is because I don't have my glasses on, so I apologize. Today's talk is not about selling.
It's really impromptu, just shooting the breeze about some things that involve caring for the whole self.
Right, because that's our motto. Our motto is caring for the whole self. So when you care for the whole self, it also consists of giving information, empowering other people with information, because we all know, as I mentioned before, other people always have this thing about giving someone else their opinion about what has been done. And we were talking a moment ago as far as the pseudoisms, the items, the pseudoisms,
Yeah, we were
and
talking about pseudo results, like pseudo. My brain just.
Okay, pseudoisms was one of the biggest things where people believe that
they're getting results.
They get the results.
Pseudo results, I think, is what we said.
And the imagery,
messing with the mind,
right?
The illusion,
right? Smoking cigarettes,
which leads to a placebo effect.
The placebo effect. Yes, I was just about to say the same thing. I definitely was about to say the same thing. Yes, indeed, you read my mind. One of the funniest things was, do you remember? This may just put out age again. A commercial of a frying pan, 2 eggs, every Saturday morning.
About the drugs?
Yes. Interesting. Yes. This is what happens to your brain when you use drugs. It's present, right? The question is, why was it only done on Saturday mornings?
Because the children were up watching the cartoon?
Absolutely. That was the whole idea. Even down to the slogan of NBC's slogan. This was many years ago, and this, of course, is public, so we could talk about it. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. Right? So even as we grew up, bear with me a moment. Even as we grow up, we still tend to do things wrong. We have family members, I know I did, had family members that were heavily users on drugs.
Mhm.
And we grew up with those commercials about what it would do to your brain if you got on drugs, what not to do. And they still went up doing it. So now we fast forward several decades. Several decades later, we have all these other crazy commercials and all these crazy things. And the one thing still stands true. People want an item that they need in their lives, but don't want to work to get it done. They don't want to work for it.
Which is pretty interesting what you just said, because the question in this video started off as, do we think too much? And in this aspect, it seems like we don't think enough.
Exactly. We don't think enough.
We don't think enough.
I'm sure Dr. Linda, Professor Lovely Lady, she can probably confirm to this. I'm sure she's had clients before where she would actually say, do you have any questions for me? And she gets nothing but crickets. If she has done that and experienced it, it's almost like pulling teeth out of a mouth that has no teeth.
Especially when they are required to do the work.
Exactly. So then it comes back to a point of, she agreed. I think she said something about agrees. Okay. It comes back to a point of, how do you assist someone in getting better when they don't even let you know what's causing them to get ill? So then it's like, you come to me for advice, or like for us right now, top to bottom, we've actually advised people, call us, reach out to us, let us know your situation. We might be able to assist in the matter. I mean, one of the biggest things that I always try to tell guys when we used to go to the barbershop, they go to the barbershop, everybody uses the same razor, they stick it inside this blue liquid, think it's getting clean, but then you get all these razor bumps underneath your chin, and you're trying to figure out where it's from. And you don't realize that the razor that they were using on everybody else is not really getting cleaned inside that blue liquid. All it's doing is it's just sitting there and growing more germs, because every time it goes in, they drop it in, the germs that are sitting at the bottom come right back up inside the fluid and drop right back down again. Exactly, cross-contamination. Which now, of course, as I mentioned, as a career student, and I went to school for so many things, unfortunately, this is a bad thing for me because I have so many things inside my belt. Cross-contamination is one of the biggest things that got so many people sick over so many countries and so many states. And it all started off with just a basic thing as, put some gloves on your hands when you're cooking somebody's food. That contamination right there done got people sick.
Wash your damn hands.
They didn't want to say anything about it. Everybody said it was okay.
How many times they've been playing with cadavers and dead bodies and blood, and then
even now to this day, to this day, I can say like this.
As a person who's been in your, I can say,
look here now.
Cross-contamination.
I
people that's supposed to know better.
Listen, you've seen it in the medical field. You've seen doctors, nurses, caretakers, all kind of things in the medical field. I've seen it firsthand in the restaurant field. People just don't care because they want it fast. Everybody wants it fast. What happens when you want things fast? Let's just take a real quick gander at this. Let's look at how when you're driving down the road and somebody passes you above the speed limit, but gets to the stoplight the same time you do. What was the purpose of them getting past you? Why? Because in their mind, they thought, if I move faster, I'm going to get there faster and I have less time to wait.
It's that instant gratification.
Thank you. Instant gratification is what's actually hurting people more than what is actually better for them. Now, even as we try not to talk about top to bottom all the time as far as selling, we do have to put this out there. Top to bottom was created because of a personal situation with HS, right? We both have to, the reason why it's both of us, because I am the supporter. I have to be there to assist you in getting better. So it's both of us going through it, right? So as we are going through it and are successful, because we are successful at this point on minimizing the effects of the HS because of all the things that we have done, even down to creating our own personal hygiene products, from hair wash, lotions, detanglers, conditioners, feet products, nail products, we're covering all the bases.
We're
Right.
trying our best.
We're doing well. I think we're doing
Because
well.
things take time. They have to be, as you say, vetted, and we have to make sure that it's stable. We have to make sure these things go together,
Right.
and they meet, the proper standards and
Right.
guidelines.
Right.
So we're definitely doing it, and we have to create these formulas, try them, test them, send them out, make sure they're stable. Those things take time, and that's only the creation part of the portion of it. So there's definitely a lot of work that goes into this, and then trying to meet the needs of many of our customers that have different needs. Like I'm going to create another leave-in, for thicker hair. So these things take time to formulate, because a lot of times I could just put something in there that's not safe and make it easier, because a lot of the times when you do your research and you look at what the other corporations are using, that's exactly what they're doing. And so then I have to always try to find what is the natural alternative to that chemical.
Well, I'm glad you said that. And I want to piggyback off what you're saying. If the larger companies are focusing on making a product that fits only one person, let's take a gander for a moment. Let's put our thinking hats on for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
If they did that, would they be successful?
One person?
Yeah. Okay, let me put it another way.
Person,
let me put it another way.
Like a person that has one type of need?
Yes. Or... Would it be difficult for that company to be successful?
No. Mm-mm.
So then if we see that that's not an issue, would it be fair to say we as a small business company, and we started out trying to let people know that we're working with you to understand what your situation is, to try to assist you in getting a better journey. How is it possible that the major companies can do an all-in-one or all covers everyone, and yet people will go out and spend, and I know this for a fact because I have family members that do this, they will go into a 3-letter acronym store and buy $100 of product, and yet get a bulk of it because they feel if I get a lot of it, it's going to last longer and I'm going to be okay. And yet fail to understand that, okay, you got a bulk of it. Now, how much of that bulk is actually doing well for your health?
And then a lot of times these are the same ones that are into, say, other healthy things, or saying, oh, we need to be healthy with this. So you can't have it both ways. You got to take care of the inside and you got to take care of the outside.
This is true.
The outside, your hair, your skin is your largest organ.
Say that again.
Your skin is your largest organ.
And how many people fail to understand that?
I don't know. I guess they think it's just a suit, a plastic suit.
They think it's a plastic suit. And I say that
nothing penetrates.
They believe nothing penetrates. They really do. But yet, if you just look at, I was watching it just the other day. I kid you not. I was watching this huge ship had a brush on the side of the ship, a mechanical brush, and they came up to a whale that had barnacles on the whale. And the ship washed off all the barnacles from the whale. Now, hear me out now. This is why it's amazing on how people believe that the skin is just a suit and it's something that doesn't get absorbed. Why is this so important that people would spend thousands and thousands of dollars to get on a ship, create a mechanical arm that has a brush that actually reaches over to the side to find a whale, wash the barnacles off the whale, and yet people would prefer to sit back and go to a 3-acronym or 2-acronym building and buy a product that over time is getting them sick?
You know what it is? They don't realize that these things are getting them sick because it's slow progressing. And then when you have, like, say a company will say, I'll give an example, formaldehyde. They'll say, "Oh, it's only a little bit of formaldehyde in this. It's your body already creates formaldehyde, so it's not a lot. It won't do." But then everything you use throughout the day, down to from your toothpaste, your shampoo, your face, your lotion, even your clothes, are excreting these
Mhm.
chemicals. So at what point have you passed the threshold now of safety?
And that is so true. You said that.
And then by the time you get sick, you can't tie it to anything. So the only thing they can say is not our fault. You can't prove it.
This is true. And this is where it comes to, again, as we're talking about this, and I'm sure that Professor Lovely Lady, she can probably chime in on this one. Dietitians make so much money on teaching people how to eat by portion, how to eat correct, what to eat correctly, down to, I believe it's something that's called calorie intake.
Caloric intake.
Caloric intake. So now the question is this: even as that person is teaching someone else a calorie intake, why is it that that person still intends to turn around and say, it's not working? What's wrong? Why am I still ill? Why am I getting headaches? Why is my skin getting irritated? Why am I getting these boils in places that I'm not supposed to have boils? Why does my feet itch every single day?
Well, yeah, because it also depends on the reason why they're seeing the dietitian. Like, say if there's someone who's struggling with obesity and they eat due to their caloric intake, not because of any hormonal imbalance. It seems like one of the things that are not addressed is food addiction. So that mental attachment to food in the wrong way.
Okay.
Are you using it for comfort? Are you using it for whatever reason it is? That it's soothing you, some type of therapeutic reason.
Okay.
So that when you pull away from it, you go through withdrawals. It's the same as if someone who's on methamphetamines.
This is true. And even with that being said, it's the point of them having a loss of need for that item.
So they want that quick fix.
They want the quick fix. And yet I come back and I withdraw again, and I come back and I start all over from square one and say, why is it that we, at top to bottom, try to introduce people what's happening when they're using an over-the-counter product for so many years, that there's a possibility that that product has actually gotten you ill and or has increased the illness you have. Yeah. I mean, we could talk about this all day. The class action suit
for the relaxers.
Absolutely. We did a segment on that.
We sure did.
We did a segment on class action suits with all the major companies that actually got. I believe Lovely Lady has a comment in there. Hold on.
Let me see.
Click comment here.
Oh.
This way you can see that there. Because I'm not able to see it. I don't have my glasses.
Oh, okay. I have relatives that have paid large sums of money to hire a dietitian and then went to spend thousands more to have liposuction taken away. Ooh. Yeah.
To have the liposuction reversed because they went back into the old eating habits.
Yeah.
That program we watched, what was it? Dr. Now? Dr. No?
Yeah, 600 pounds.
Okay. We watched that program.
I like, that's my what do you call it? My sociology viewing, I guess. I don't know. I just like to watch that and see what's in the people's heads.
Yeah.
But yes, I see what you're saying about Dr. Linda, because I have a friend that
a friend. Go ahead.
Had gastro with the full gastric.
The gastric bypass one?
Bypass.
Okay.
And I tried to warn them about those things. I said you have to change your whole mindset, because even if you get that surgery, you still have to eat right. You still, and it's going to even be harder because now you don't have parts of your intestines that's going to absorb a lot of the nutrients.
Right.
And you have to make sure that that doctor is making sure that you get the proper nutrients injected now into you, because now you can no longer absorb them orally. And if you do, it has to be something that's sublingual, so it can go directly into your bloodstream, because now your digestive system can no longer process that.
Right.
And they didn't listen, and they had the surgery, and now they're waiting for a kidney because they've been having all this failure and all these other things that's going on. And the quality of life sucks. They're always on dialysis and everything else now.
And that's terrible. It's a terrible situation. And again,
Oh,
please,
book she written.
Let's understand that we don't emphasize on someone else's misery to gain a financial standpoint. I like to believe it's the opposite. You gonna get that her book?
I want to read. I mean, what she's saying, but I want you to finish what you were saying.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, she says, as I have written in one of my books, there is no secret to maintaining healthy weight. Just eat less and move more. I'm just saying.
Well, that's a good way to put it. And I, for one, I'm going to talk about my experience. Okay. I've been told for many, many years that I had to lose a certain amount of weight in order to stay healthy. They always want to turn around and say it's based off of your family traits is the reason that you're ill.
I call it habits.
Okay. Being that
traits, I say habits.
Okay. So let's talk about something real quick. I'm just going to throw this out there because I'm going to bring it all together in a moment. I'm bringing it all together. Trust me, I'm bringing it all together. I was told at a very young age I had asthma, that I would never get out of asthma. Asthma is going to be with me until the day I die.
They told me that too.
Wrong. And I'm going to say several years ago, I was told that I would never walk again. Wrong. Several years ago, I was told that I would never, ever be able to breathe without an oxygen tank. Wrong. I was also told many years ago that I was not going to be a functioning individual due to my head injury. Wrong. The reason why I mentioned that is because and this is not putting Dr. Linda on blast. I'm not saying anything she does is wrong. I'm just going to put this out there. 95% of the doctors that I have encountered, because I have had many, 17 surgeries, that gives me a lot of doctors. 95% of them doctors all said, let's try this.
Try.
So when a doctor says, let's try.
It is decidedly so.
Hold on. Dang it, I left my ball. I left my 8 ball. It is decidedly so. This is what's going to happen. So now, this is how it's all going to come together. Now, just bear with me 30 seconds. If a doctor can tell you, let's try this, and they put you on several medications, each one of those medications is acting a certain way or reacting a certain way inside your body, messing around with your chemicals that are your internal chemicals that you were born with naturally. So now you're getting this unstableness on the inside of your body. Now you turn around and you put all these outside products on top of your body, thinking that everything's going to regulate. And now you have a complete cluster F going on inside your body. Right. And then you're sitting down saying, why am I depressed? Why am I gaining weight? Endocrine disruptors. So here it is again that we come across.
I can testify to that. I can pull up some pictures of mine where you could be like, what the heck happened to you, girl? Endocrine disruptors.
So it's amazing to me that we as adults, the older we get, as they say, fine wine, the older the berry, the sweeter the juice, the better the drink. Well, heck, I'm still trying to figure out people don't understand that concept. But you keep putting these all kind of things inside your body and putting outside things that don't work well with you, but you're trying to figure out why it's not working. Now you're trying to figure out why you're sick. Why you depressed? Now again, not putting anybody on blast.
Or doing things right on the inside and not doing right on the outside, and vice
Thank you.
versa. It's like,
Thank you.
the whole system,
Hence the reason why our motto is,
caring for the whole self.
that's our motto, caring for the whole self, from top of the head all the way down, bottom to the feet. That's why it's top to bottom. Because again, if you don't take care of the outside, you are not able to take care of the inside. Many years ago, I remember when I was a kid and I learned about gravity. They said an apple dropped from the tree and it hits the ground, and the apple had a sore in the apple.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you couldn't see it on the outside. You had to actually take the skin off
Mm-hmm.
to see the bruise, right? So what does that tell you right there? If you had to take the skin off to see the bruise, but it happened externally.
Mm-hmm.
So if in fact that can happen nature-wise, how is it possible that we at Top to Bottom, that's toptobottom.com, spelled with a U because we're unique, PSA, we try to influence and emphasize and teach people how to get their skin and their hair better, and yet they sit back and say, oh, you guys really don't know what you're talking about. I spoke to a young lady just recently, and I asked her, I said, what do you do for your hair? What type of hair do you have? She looked at me, she said, what do you mean what type? This is what it is. I don't know much about hair. I just recently started learning about types. It was just amazing that this woman didn't know what type hair she had.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I'm watching her fill up her shopping cart with all the over-the-counter products, different name brands, different kinds. So I turned around and gave her a business card.
Because they looking at whatever the marketing is saying, this will make this happen. Kind of like buying magic beans, you know.
It is a magic bean, which comes back to a pseudoism.
You don't know what you need, but you're purchasing. And not saying that some of these things won't show or give you the idea that they work, because there are, you know, a lot of products out there now that they have mastered how to give that, you know, appearance and, you know, illusion.
Right.
And then later on, you just don't know what's going on with it. Oh,
this is true. I believe we have a comment in there.
Yes, we do. When it comes to medications, I agree with what you're saying. I have never given my total trust towards medical doctors, particularly those who are not like us, and especially those in the United States. That is so true. That is so true, because it's more like a sick care than it is health care.
I am so glad to hear that she did. I bowed to her. I clapped my hands to her, because that is something that is very, very helpful in the caring world. Because at the end of the day, I remember this, I said this before, and I think I've said this in almost every single live, every single video we put up, every post that we put up. Patch Adams said it best. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be a doctor to take care of someone. Just because you put a cold compress on someone's hot forehead does not mean you need to give them medication. Does not mean they need to be in a hospital. It just means that you're caring for them. You're trying to make them better with the things that are natural, which of course that comes back to us. Once again, we make things out of non-toxic products. Mm-hmm. And ingredients are non-toxic.
And it takes research, because sometimes things come across as non-toxic, and then I have to dig a little deeper and go into the chemical components of it, and then it's like, okay. Because as much as it would be nice to just take everything from your refrigerator and put it together, that's not stable either, because things grow bacteria. Not. And a lot of when you get things that are food, when it comes to selling, maybe if you're doing it for yourself, once it comes to selling and shipping things out, it's preservatives. There aren't preservatives out there that can help it. Keep it from growing the molds and the bacteria, and you don't always see them as they're growing. So you just have to be really, really careful about those things.
I listen.
There's some things you just keep to yourself, and then when it comes to actually doing things for other people, you have to be more stringent. about it and more careful. And I would like to mention that we talking about the medications. I'm on my journey now to reversing all the effects of the decades of medications and things that were done or given to me that has totally threw my hormonal cycle off track, entering another stage in my life. And I would like for all my lovies from top to bottom to join with me in this journey as I get it all squared away. So we're gonna have a lot of good content coming in that aspect.
Yes, I asked the subscribers, the followers, the watchers, the listeners, those that are just enjoying the time with us to share the information, because at the end of the day, there's always someone out there that needs that extra little that little push of information so that they can try to get themselves better as well. I'm one, I said it before and I'll say it again. If you do not walk in those persons' shoes, meaning you have not experienced what they experienced, please do not say you understand.
I'm reading Jose.
Go ahead.
The restaurant world has shown the biggest way to spoilage.
Well, that's a true point.
Restaurant world, so you definitely would know.
I have seen it. I have seen the greatest chefs, and I mean the greatest chefs throughout the world. I was fortunate enough to, like I said before, and I'll say it again, I'm a career student. So if I was to sit back and put up all the degrees on a wall behind me, people would say there's no way that this man has done all that stuff.
Oh, remember the one with the chef that had his arm in the...
Listen, I was just about to say that.
Oh my God.
At a competition, we was at a competition, okay? A competition, and anybody who doesn't believe me, the competition was in Brooklyn. I don't know what year it was. I kind of forgot what year it was, but it was in Brooklyn. Okay, I have pictures of it. There was a chef that had his arm, his hairy arm, inside the sauce. As he mixed it with his arm, because it was cooling down, he mixed it with his arm and then slapped it on top of a whole salmon that had to be presented and fed to the people. I seen it with my own eyes. Okay, it was a competition in Brooklyn many moons ago. Other than that, I was part of the American Culinary Federation. Now, if anybody who understands what the ACF is, they know that you cannot be part of that if you're not a chef. You have to be a certified chef in order to be part of that. So yes, as I said before, and I'll say it again, I am a career student. So even upon that moment of watching how chefs have done nasty things to feed people at events, I'm sure that you, being formerly in the medical field, have seen doctors and nurses do things that they weren't supposed to do either. I know that I've gone to visit you at work, and I've gone to the cafeteria, okay, and I see doctors with their lab coats or their coats with blood spatters on their pockets, standing next to the food buffet just to grab a quick lunch and run back to their office.
Their dirty sleeves, and they're reaching over.
Look here.
The food, and then that's when I walk right out, and I'm like,
I think we have another comment up there. Something blinking on my end.
I am a chef in my own mind. That's awesome. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Look,
you can only trust yourself.
This is true. You could only trust the food that you have on yourself, that you made yourself. Because at the end of the day, listen, I've gone to, listen, I'm going to put it on blast. I went to a restaurant in Hoboken, New Jersey, a very well-known restaurant in Hoboken, New Jersey. Anybody knows about Hoboken, New Jersey? Hoboken, New Jersey is literally outside the Lincoln Tunnel from New York. So it was a big competition between New York restaurants and Hoboken, New Jersey restaurants. I walked into a restaurant, went into the kitchen, because at that time I was a chef, walked into the kitchen and saw them preparing food and keeping the food in a warmer where it had cobwebs and dust balls. And the waiters and the waitresses would come out and say, listen, this guy, and the chef, the people there that call themselves chefs would say, no, take it out, take it out, take it out, take it out. And then wondering why people in the Hoboken were getting sick, which is just amazing to me. It's amazing to me. So now I come back and I look at what the doctors are doing at the hospital that she was at. And I look at the medical field and how nasty doctors and nurses and all these other people who are taking care of us are. And everybody keeps going with the concept of, let me try this, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. So now here at top to bottom, we turn around and tell people, listen, you got a situation, talk to us first so we can try to come up with an idea that's going to make it better for you. Because at the end of the day, one of the biggest things that we found, and I emphasize on this, we found in a class action suit that this product, many people were utilizing and wound up with cancer to this day. So now my question is this: as we actually go out there and introduce people to our products a much more better way, to something new, something that may just help your journey a little bit better, people don't want to believe us.
Yeah.
It's a little hurtful. It's a little hurtful. And the reason why it's hurtful is I've sat back and I've sat down with many people.
It's a struggle because sometimes they it's the glam. They want the glam. They want the spritz, and those are the things that they tend to like gravitate to. And then, like, even with a lot of the companies that's supposed to be for us, if people only knew that a lot of them are going on Alibaba. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Alibaba. Maybe you can explain what Alibaba is. And they are private labeling. They're not creating this stuff themselves because it does take a lot of time to actually formulate and make your own stuff. So they're going on there and they're getting this stuff from China and smacking their label on there and shipping it out.
I got to ask this question. If Professor Lovely Lady is still out there, it also goes to her. I'd like to see if she has any feedback on this one. And I'm going to ask you the same question.
Okay.
If you bought a product over the counter and you found out that within that product there was a chemical that was making you sick, would you continue buying that product?
No.
Okay. So explain to me this, both of you ladies and anybody else who's watching. Somebody chime in on this one, explain this one to me. Mm-hmm. How is it possible that formaldehyde is still inside products? How is it that microplastics are inside products? Mm-hmm. And how is it possible that that many people are not complaining about the illness that those things are causing?
But one of the reasons I think is, as I mentioned before, is I don't think they're tying it together. And the ones that may be tying it together, they have this attitude of that self-gratification and, we got to all die of something, until they really get sick. Like, they don't believe really that these things are really harm. They feel as if it's kind of like a defeated aspect. Oh, like, how can you avoid it type thing.
Mm-hmm. I believe we have a comment up there.
Dr. Linda says no, she would not continue to buy the product.
Thank you very much for answering that. Mm-hmm. And I want to piggyback off of something you mentioned there. When we bought our home, one of the biggest things that I turned around and said, granted, dishwashers are a great tool to have in a home. If you don't have children, a dishwasher is great to have. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. If the company that makes these little devices or little items that goes inside the dishwasher and explodes because of the heat that's inside the actual dishwasher, how is it possible that there's another company out there that says that this same product, or rather, let me rephrase that, the similar product functions the same way,
Mhm.
yet in cold water. Where is that plastic building up at?
In the machine, I would believe, or down into the system, the water system.
I'm gonna put it out there. Roto Rooter. That's the
Yeah,
name.
down in the system.
I mean, think about it. If the company makes the product for hot water so that it breaks down, there's another company that says, no, well, we're going to turn around and tell you can use cold water and it's going to break down the same way. I remember when I was a kid growing up and when I went to school, even into my late ages, if cold weather attaches to an item, I believe the term is called solidified,
Mhm.
which means it comes together and it gets hard.
Mhm.
So if plastic gets hard over time and builds a clot in your pipes, does your pipes keep working?
That sounds like high cholesterol.
Yeah, that's where I was going. That's where I was going. High cholesterol, brain aneurysms. What's the other one? Clots in the heart. There's a specific name for it. Come on, you can tell me which one is it when the clot goes to the heart and it stops the heart from beating. Come on now.
What? You talking about a heart attack?
No, there's there's another phrase for it.
Ventral. Something with the ventricle.
Because I remember it's in my head, but I can't get it on my tongue.
You know, I'm having
It's when a
brain.
clot goes up inside the vein and it
A
hits.
stroke.
That's the one, the stroke. So now, if you sit back and you're trying to figure out why you're getting all these illnesses, and yet you fail to understand that all these buildups inside your body are messing up.
Mm-hmm.
Now you turn around and you say, "Well, I'm gonna keep using this hair product because it's making my hair shiny and it's making my hair slick and it's making my hair smooth. I can get my comb through it." And don't realize that you're breaking down these little products that's sitting on top of your skull and it's making your skin dry on your head. Now you got dry skin on your head and you're trying to figure out where it's coming from. Then they made this company, it's called this blue company that came out many moons ago. And it was a competition between the blue company and a body part. I think it was called shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Right? These two companies came out with the blue product and didn't realize that the blue product, the coloring of the product was getting you even more sick.
Yeah, they recently just FDA finally just banned one of the red dyes that we've been saying for eons that it's dangerous. It's already been banned in other countries.
I'm getting a flicker on my screen. Somebody said
Dr.
something.
Linda says, my first career was in the funeral industry.
Ooh.
And formaldehyde is used in the embalming process. How in this world is formaldehyde being allowed in beauty or other products? Pure madness. America has lost its mind. Yes. And this is the thing that they say, Dr. Linda, is that because these are coming from cosmetic chemists. Well, your body releases formaldehyde naturally, so therefore it's not dangerous in small amounts according to the FDA. So they try to use that because it's the cheapest, easiest way to preserve a product, to give it a shelf life of who knows how long, so that they can send it out and get it on these shelves. That's what it is.
Oh, I'm gonna throw this one out there. I've been hearing
I can tell you, as someone who's been trying to find EcoCert preservatives to fight yeast, mold, bacteria, everything at once. It's a challenge to get that balance together, and for them, that's just the easiest way to do it. Oh, we'll just get embalming fluid,
and that's the part that
ain't nothing down, ain't nothing.
Ain't nothing getting
Taxidermists.
It's gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. Don't worry about it. There's no other sickness, just formaldehyde inductions. That's all this
Because
is.
they're told as long as they give that certain percentage, it's fine. But for you as the consumer, if it's in everything, then what?
Well, here's the better thing. If they turn around and tell me, okay, 10 grams,
like arsenic in your drinking water.
Oh, we're not even gonna go there. We're not gonna go there because that one's a That one's gonna bring me to a
We're
whole.
gonna close that for another topic.
We're gonna put that topic on the next live we do.
Okay.
We're gonna put it in on paper. We're gonna put it. If 10 grams of formaldehyde a day is too much, how is it that they believe that 1% of formaldehyde in 14 products you use a day is not bad for you? I mean, I always looked at it if 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 makes 5.
Because you figure if it's say a 24, what usually a shampoo is about, say if it's 12 ounces, that's like about almost 400 grams.
Okay.
And you figure the allotted amount of preservative is usually about 1%.
Okay.
Or 2%, depending on how it's manufactured.
Okay.
Right there.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Simple mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
You take a person who washes their hair every other day.
Mm-hmm.
So that 1% of the formaldehyde now has become 4 to 5% in 1 week, which now has become up to 20% in 1 month.
Not to mention the lotion that they're going to put on afterwards. Not to mention the stuff that they're going to wash their mouth out with, the mouthwash. Not to mention the things that you brush your teeth with, the things that you bathe and shower with.
Yep.
All have to be preserved.
Yep.
Because the minute a product has a water ingredient, you have to protect it from molding and creating bacteria.
And how about this one? Because I was guilty of this as a person growing up. I was guilty of this time and time and time again. If my product got halfway, I would add water to it, shake it. I gotta stretch it. I was getting myself sicker than sick.
You were stretching it because what happens with that is that totally deactivates
the preservative. But I can tell you.
So even like when we do that now, like especially in the natural hair community, we'll take some conditioner in the water bottle and switch it up. We totally destabilize the conditioner. We don't see the bacteria, but it's there.
I mean, I cannot be the only one that did that. I know there's a lot of people out there that done that. Too. Oh, we got my screen is blinking. I think there's a comment up there.
Oh, I don't think
it. No. Nothing. Okay.
Madness. That was the last thing she put.
Oh, okay. I guess my screen is
that. America's lost its mind. That she put madness.
Oh, my battery's going down too. Okay, that's what it is, probably. Oh, but then not even with that factor, right?
You need this?
No, not yet. I'll let you know. Even with that factor, as we just spoke about the preservative for the product and how many people tend to add more water to stretch a product.
Yes, adding water, stretching it out, stretching the soup.
And now you're destroying the product. So you actually turning around and making the product, as we call it in the kitchen, unstable. Because now the product is going to have every kind of germ and any kind of bacteria is going to grow in it.
And not no stirring water either.
You're using the bathwater. So if you don't even have a filter in it.
Metals in it.
It has metals in it, which was that topic that we was untouched about on the next slide. And if you don't have a filter in your system, now you're getting all that messed up water. And if you don't change your water filter on an occasion, or when you're supposed to, you're still going to get the contaminants in it. So now you're trying to figure out why your hair falling out. So do you blame the company that you bought the product from, or do you blame yourself for not doing what you're supposed to do, is basically just buy another product? But see, this is what I'm talking about, this is what I mean as far as we people, we do things on the day-to-day and be upset that things don't come out right. And or we don't want to take a chance in believing that there's a person out there that is willing to sit with us and walk us through a journey. And one of the biggest things I remember that I'm sure Professor Lovely can attest to this, in order for a person to be successful, they need to learn how to walk. Now, hear me out now. Hear me out on this one. Hear me out on this one. A child, and this comes back to psychology, a child that learns how to walk just stands right on up and just walks without a care in the world.
Fear, no fear.
No fear whatsoever. They walk. In the psychology world, that's one of the most beautiful things, because as adults, we tend to lose that, what I call, or even my professor called it at the time,
Inhibition.
that courage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The courage to just move forward in knowing that what you're doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
Now you turn around, you get of age, and you start listening to other people on what to do, how to do things, and then you're trying to figure out why your life is all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So now what the tie, now I'm going to tie it back to how we're talking about, caring for the whole self.
Mm-hmm.
Caring for the whole self. Now you turn around, you start listening to all these other people, you start adding all these different products to your body,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to figure out why you got these rashes in places you're not supposed to have rashes.
Mm-hmm.
Why you're getting bumps, and they want to call it razor bumps. No, it's not a razor bump. A razor bump is not under your chin.
And we're going to do a video on that too, about beard care for those who.
Listen, I used to go to the barber shop,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And I used to sit there with my barber, and I would go to the one barber mind you, I have to say I love this guy. I haven't spoken to this guy in ages, okay? But I have to give love to this guy, because this guy is the only guy that came to the hospital and told the doctors and the nurses who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It was my barber.
Yeah.
All right? True story.
Mm-hmm.
No, my name's not True Story from Unlock. No, it's a true story. He was the only one. It was the only person that I was able to remember. And he came to the hospital and said, "No, I know who that is. This is his name. This is where he lived. This is his phone number." He's the one, my barber. Right? So even after that, I went bald. I chose to go bald, but I still went to him to get my beard taken care of. And when I went to him, he told me, "Get your own clipper, because I don't want you to get sick." And I couldn't understand why he said that. And that's when I realized it. He's the one that actually showed me what it was. So he implanted the seed of how the contamination works. Mm-hmm. Because, of course, if anybody knows, we're going to go back to this thing about adding water. You put water on a mechanical device that has steel or anything, you now change the components of that chemical, which now becomes rust.
Yeah, you're oxidizing the metal.
Now you're sitting back and saying, why is it not working? Or why is my face getting all these bumps on it? Because the rust of the machine is now affecting your face, because you have delicate skin. I got delicate skin. My skin gets very irritated even with the puppy. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I understand the concept of the contaminants on the chemical reactions of something going wrong. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about our stuff, I have introduced people to Top to Bottom, and I have said to people on countless occasions, I said, listen, I can attest to this. If you call my wife, you sit and talk to her for 30 minutes just to get a game plan. Mm-hmm. Just to get a game plan. Because even if you don't purchase the product, at least you're getting the information that may assist you on moving forward. Mm-hmm. You ain't got to purchase the product. You want to go make your own? Listen, we'll send you the actual recipe, or you can come on to the website and buy the recipe and make it yourself. If you think you can do it better, why not? Okay, I told that to people. At the end of the day, it's all about giving you the information, the assistance, and the help that you need to get your journey right. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, you don't need just to shave off all your head if there's a way to work. I watched a video just the other day on how this barber was fixing the guy's hair, because he had all these bumps, like razor bumps in the back of his head, as he was giving him a haircut. And the first thing I said to myself was, did the guy go to the doctor and find out if it's HS? Because the way it just kept being there, it was centralized. And then, of course, the barber is using the machine to cut into it.
That's the worst thing you can do. One, if he has keloid skin, that's the worst thing. And if he has HS, that's the worst thing to do.
But yet, the barber, of course.
And then he's going to go and touch someone else's head with that.
Hey, Kelakua.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm itching.
And so these are the things that just shocks me. It really shocks me. I mean, I just don't understand why people want to believe things just because they think it works, but yet you don't want to sit with the person to talk to them about it to see if it works.
Yeah.
Okay? Because what does it take? If you can sit down and listen to someone jibber jabber about nonsense for 3-4 hours a day, why don't you just take 30 minutes to listen to someone who knows what they're doing, like yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've had help someone before that the stuff that they were going through, she had trouble with her hair, and whether it was the growing part and some scalp issues, and the things that she was letting me know and the questions I was asking led me to believe that she had some type of systematic issue going on. So I did ask her, did she have polycystic ovaries or diabetic issues? Because these were things, and now it seems like was blocking the ability for hair to grow. Because we're told, especially as African American women, our hair don't grow, but yet we get relaxers and we got to do touch-ups every 6 weeks. So obviously there's hair growing out of there. It's just a matter of maintaining the length is the issue. But this woman, her hair wasn't growing. So usually if your hair is not actually growing out of your scalp, then it's a health issue involved. And then come to find out she did. She had ovarian issues and things like that. And then we, set up a plan that worked. It didn't really involve her buying anything from me. I was just helping her pretty much detoxify her scalp and show her ways to get herself right from the inside.
And that's a beautiful testimony. And it's a beautiful testimony in so many ways, and very truthful. In many ways, is very truthful due to how the person that called you, which became our client after all, she really did become our client. And of course, she was very hesitant in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yet she realized, okay, with this small seed that you guys implant, or rather you, because that's your field, I'm not even going to take any credit for it. She sat with you. She understood what was going on. She started her journey according to your recommendations, because of course, now my field is standard operating procedures. I'm a big fan of SOP. Yet over the years, it's been called suggestive. So now we turn around back to you and we say, okay, you assisted this client in a journey that didn't have her pay for anything until several months later, when she decided, I'm going to go ahead and try a product.
Yeah.
Free information. Free.
Yeah.
Everybody loves free.
Because the one thing that happened was now that her body or her scalp and hair was able to start absorbing the correct way, and she started buying the products, and it helped further, flourish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, especially that rosemary. That rosemary hydration spray with the aloe was really nice. A lot of people like that one.
Well, I'm going to piggyback off of that, and I'm going to talk about the guy that I introduced the beard oil to. The guy that I called at the 2 acronym big box store. Gave him a sample, asked him about it. The one thing I turned around, I said to him right in front of him, I said, you're the only guy, that has a beard that I saw do the correct procedure to moisturizing your beard. Many guys and some females that have a beard, because I've seen it.
All right.
I gotta tell the truth. I've seen it. They all want to go downward, okay? Down like this. And they think they're hydrating the beard. No, because there's an underside that's close to the skin. And they feel that they have to go upwards first. In all directions.
Right.
You must go upward first.
And when I made the beard souffle, that's why I made it so that it can penetrate into those areas.
And again, it's just like the follicles on top of your head, the hair strands on your hair. The reason why many women bow down and brush their hair this way, isn't it because they got to get the back and the underside of the hair that's closest to the skin, make sure everything is going right?
and bring the oils to the ends of the hair.
Bring the oil to the end of the hair
Mhm.
to open the shaft. That's what you told me. That's what you showed me. So now I turn around and tell the guys the same thing. You got to go this way so that the hair shaft can open up. And I get this look.
Yeah, because if you're just smoothing down the top of
What's
top
that?
of your hair, that's not helping down here. You're not putting anything underneath.
Absolutely.
And then you open up and you see they have little dry patches, scales, hair bumps, or pimples, because then sometimes they're not cleaning that area and it's getting clogged with bacteria. So
yep. And it's like I told the guy, I turned around and told some of the guys at a warehouse, one of the warehouses rather, should I say, that I was affiliated with. And I said to them, I said, listen, you got a really nice beard. Unfortunately, we won't go to have lunch together because you keep leaving food in your beard. He would have food drip into his beard and he would just, flick it this way. Don't flick it on me. Don't flick it on me. Go to the bathroom, clean from underneath, and get it out. And he just looked at me and said, I never done it that way. I said, and that's the reason why probably on the skin side, it's all jacked up. He goes, well, I've been itching down here for a while. I said, that's enough. Time out. TMI. I said, it's enough. That means you're not washing your beard the right way. I don't know what you're using, but just go wash it. And he went to the restroom and he washed his beard and he was going like this with the stuff, of course, the soap that's on the dispenser. He's going this way. And I'm like, dude.
And he washed nothing underneath.
You defeat the whole purpose. So even now to this day, I still try to tell guys, I said, you got to wash from underneath first and then wash on the outside. Because it doesn't make sense that you're only trying to get one side.
Yeah.
But again, it's small amounts of information to people.
And these are things that we're going to be even getting into more and educating people on doing things like that. Dr. Linda said that makes sense. No doubt you listed those exact instructions on the product on how to use it. Yep. Speaking about the beard oil. Yep.
No instructions. Does anybody? I'll say this all.
Always go underneath.
I say, I'm gonna keep my fingers that I don't offend anybody. Okay, and if I do offend you, guess what? Then it's true. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. If I offend you, it's because it's true. So don't be mad because I'm telling you the truth, because nobody likes the truth. Everybody wants to be told a lie, so I'm gonna tell you the truth. Look here. The reason why men products don't have detailed instructions is because the big companies say they're Neanderthals. Neanderthals just need basic information.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's why I like to put the instructions on there for the women in their lives that probably read the instructions and got to tell them, listen here, this is how you do it. Because you ain't going to keep looking crazy.
Because, I mean, it was amazing to me when the very first time I saw a men's product came out with something that was called a 2-in-1. Okay, it came in an orange container with blue letters. I'm not gonna put the name out there.
I know what you're talking about. It makes me nauseous.
Okay, they put 2-in-1, and I was like, "Wow, they finally made a 2-in-1." I'm squirting on top, and washing until one day I was getting this real itch in my privates.
And you know why? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
A lot of times those all-in-ones are not pH balanced. What works for the part of your head is a different pH than the part of your body can tolerate, especially that part that you said. So it has to be pH balanced for that part first in order for it to work all around. And again, we did have something for that. We did have something that works for that. For those who just want to just go.
But that's again why I learned that a 2-for-1 really
Facts.
doesn't work as well as it says. And it's ironic how you mentioned that phrase of pH balance. What is pH balance? I learned it just recently for my garden. So
then you can explain it to me.
no.
No, explain it from your garden sense.
You know, us old folk, when we get to a certain age, we come up with some new projects. Okay. Men always have a project.
Listen,
Okay.
top to bottom became my project.
Men always have a project. So I recently started a garden. And of course, at the very beginning, it was painful seeing crops die left and right, seeing vegetation just wither away,
Money down the drain.
money down the drain. Man, was that so upsetting. And then something just dawned on to me from something that you had mentioned when you had said pH balance.
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking into it. And come to find out, the soil of each vegetable and plant that I was growing had a different pH level.
Mm-hmm.
And it was required in order for that plant to grow and become something.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go out and buy a pH balancing tool, I want to call that, a meter that tells me exactly how wet, how dry, when. It's a whole big mess of things just to get the right crops.
You have to create a stable environment, a non-hostile environment for things to flourish.
And I'm glad you said that too, non-hostile. Guess what? Where we are, we have every gosh darn bug you could think of.
We're in subtropical climate.
These bugs, I mean, I put something to get one and it brings another. That bug says, this ain't going to kill me. I'm going to eat all your product. I'm going to eat all your vegetation. I get something for that joker. Another bug comes and says, I'm going to eat the bug that you just killed and I'm going to eat your vegetation now. So it is very difficult. So I commend you. And I ask our viewers, our listeners, our watchers, our subscribers, our followers, please understand something. When you sit back in your car, and I'm going to make this real simplified for you. When you're sitting in your car and you're deciding on which gas station to go to, because someone turned around and told you, oh, you're only supposed to put 97 inside your gas tank, there's a reason why they made 87 octane for your gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because when you sit back and you figure out why the product that you're utilizing for your hair, for your body, for your feet, for your hands, for your elbows, because we know there are people out there walking with elbows that look like they've been walking around in the Bahamas with the white sand.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it not working? Dang it, because you're using a product that doesn't attach to your body and your actual pH levels.
That happened to me. I bought some before I even really started getting into making shampoos, because those can be very fickle, formulating shampoos. It seemed like it could be easy, but it's definitely a challenge to get it right. And I went and I bought a popular brand that's supposed to be for our people. And first name starts with an M. With an M.
And I'm sure it's not.
And I washed my hair and it just got so crunchy. It drew up like a bird's nest.
Oof.
Started dreading. I thought I was going to have to cut my hair again. But luckily, because I think it was supposed to like clarify. I think I was just trying to clarify some gel out of my hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I used it. And then when that happened, I realized I still had a little bit left over of my first shampoo I ever made, which was the Slippery Rose. And I had to throw that in to counteract it. And it started to stretch back out and detangle. I mean, I really thought I was going to have to start all over again with my hair. And then I went and did a tested to see the pH on it. That pH was so high. I said this shouldn't have even made it to the stores. This was not supposed to be on the market.
Wow, not supposed to be on the market.
That high. It's like it's ridiculous. We got a comment here. Why is a pH so important for products? Well, that's definitely a good question. It's kind of like how hubby here was talking about the stable environment for food to grow in the soil. So certain things happen when the pH is too low, and certain things happen when the pH is high. It can either close the shaft of the hair or the cuticle of the hair in the skin, or it can raise it up. And then when it's too high and it's all the way risen, it can lead to a lot of irritation. A lot of times you know there's itching involved. Sometimes it's itching. The itching sometimes can just be dryness, or just different things like that. If it's too low, especially with a shampoo, then it's just sitting there, just sliding down. It's really not cleaning anything because it's not lifting. It's not lifting any dirt, because when you put a surfactant in your formula, it's supposed to lift up the cuticle to get the dirt out. But then you want it to be able to close back. So you want it to be able to function right. I guess you could say. I don't know if I said that right. And the same thing with leave-on products. You want them to not be an irritant. I mean, and granted, everyone is a little different, so you try to just follow the proper guidelines, and and everyone has to figure out what kind of works for them. But as long as you're not in that dangerous zone.
Anything with danger zone, I don't function well. Even when I was in the restaurant field, danger zones were one of the biggest things that a lot of people just dismiss totally.
Mm-hmm.
The danger zone, alcohol. Even though people think that alcohol doesn't have a danger zone, it does. It really does. Alcohol has a danger zone. Beer has a danger zone. Foods have a danger zone. Everything has a danger zone.
Moderation. Everything has to be balanced. Are Sudsy shampoos functional? Sudsy shampoos are functional. They're more gratifying because we like, the idea of suds. It doesn't need to be sudsy to work. They just have to be at the proper balance to get the dirt off.
Now, when you say the dirt off, this is interesting. When you say the dirt off, because of course, as a Neanderthal, I put soap on a car. It gets very sudsy. I'm under the impression the dirt's coming off. Yet, when it dries, there's streaks in it. Mm-hmm. So, is that any comparison to the hair?
In a sense of how things are formulated, because there are things that when you formulate, depending on how that ingredient is, even though it's lifting the dirt off, doesn't mean that it's a chemical that rinses off well.
Okay.
So that's where I'm saying a lot of things seem like they are just easy to do, but you got to make sure things are balanced. So you have to make sure that you're putting the right chemical in there, and everything's a chemical. So don't think that water's a chemical. So
this is true. That's why I have.
When people hear the word chemical, they think of something toxic or whatever. So you have to put something together that allows it to detach when necessary. It stays on the hair long enough to do its function, and then once that water hits it, it's supposed to be able to glide off and leave that clean feeling. So if you feel buildup, it's just the way it was formulated. Like sometimes maybe it's formulated so that the water has to be hot in order to come off, or something like that, or it just was a poor formulation.
Can cold water wash off a shampoo?
It can. But warm would be more effective, I would think.
Okay.
Because what happens with the shampoos, you want to make sure that you don't leave any of it on your hair, because that's usually what causes that itching. You want to make sure that comes off. You want the dirt and everything else to come off with it. So I would recommend water. It doesn't have to be hot, because then now you're stripping all the necessary oils off your hair as well. You don't want to overdo it that way either. I am guilty of very hot water, so I know I have to do better with that.
Let me answer this question, and this might soothe some of the people. Does the pressure of the water make a difference? And the reason why I say it is because I remember I used to watch people go into the beach salons, and they'll have this holes on top of the lady's head.
Yeah, because in that way you can rinse off the scalp good. Yeah, because those rain, I don't like those for washing hair. Those, the shower with the rain.
Yeah, the rain head shower, shower heads. Yeah.
No, don't do nothing for me.
So,
not for this kind of hair.
So
not for wool.
So
I need towel.
So the shower head that we have now that I was wanting to put in that house would not be good.
Not for washing hair. You would have to have a separate hose.
A separate hose?
For me to rinse off my hair. Yeah.
You mean tell me I gotta put a hose into the shower?
Yeah. Separate handle.
The screen's blinking. I think we got a comment up there.
Oh. Can you recommend a test for hair? A test for hair? Depends on what you're trying to find out.
What would be
the hair? Like, I know there was a video that we put up about hair porosity, and then there was a home test that you can just do with the water. Like, you have some lukewarm water in a glass, clean, and you take a strand of a clean strand of hair, and you place it in the water, and depending on whether it floats or kind of level in the middle or sink to the bottom, will determine if the hair's porosity was high, normal, or low.
You mean, wait a minute. You mean to tell the viewers that if they took a strand of their hair and dropped it in a bowl of water, they'll know what the porosity level is of their hair?
It'll give them an idea. It's one of those things that it helps to know. I mean, instead of trying a bunch of products and seeing why your hair's not
So let me ask you this: does that work the same way with a beard?
What do you mean, if you pluck the hair out?
Yeah. Would that include the root, or just the hair itself?
It don't have to be the root. Sometimes people just take when they comb, whatever comes out, they just take as long as it's clean, because you don't want any buildup on the strand, and put it in the water.
You know what? We're gonna do a video. We're gonna clip my beard.
Okay.
And we're gonna put that video on for the guys that got beards, so they can learn what the porosity of their hair is, so they can start buying the right products for their hairs.
And that's why I started formulating stuff for low porosity hair first, because it's so difficult. There was a long time when I thought my hair was just dry, and it wasn't that it was dry. It's just that nothing was getting in it.
No, when you say nothing getting in it,
water off the duck's back. You ever heard that saying? Water off the duck's back. The water's just pouring in, and I'm like, why is nothing getting in? And all that time, it was just because I had low porosity hair, so I had to start putting heat to my hair, like steam, letting the shower steam up a little bit, or something to that, using a steamer to lift the cuticles of the hair. And then I noticed when I would put like the stuff in, it would absorb. Or if I'm in the shower, I let the warm water run on my hair for a while until it's getting to that point that it feels like the cuticles are lifting. You feel the water start to absorb in the hair. Then I said, okay, now it's ready, and then I'll start my wash process.
Well, that's interesting, because one of the things I remembered that we were going through was trying to find what works. And
Will you be able to translate? I'm sorry, babe.
okay.
Will you be able to translate your information into Spanish? Well, yes, hubby. We'll definitely be able to translate that. Well, I think we formatted. Like if your settings on your channel is Spanish speaking or French speaking, I think we have it where it automatically translates. I think I said that for it to automatically translate.
Well, I know I did it. I did it on the. I did it on the other. On definitely.
I went back and started going to a lot of the videos, a lot of the tutorial videos.
Right.
I went back and set the translation. So if your channel wants that language, it should be able to translate it into the language of choice.
Y por casualidad, la gente que habla en español, deja la tontería y ven a verificar con nosotros a lo que está pasando con tu pelo. Porque ustedes se van siempre semanal al salón y en el salón te está dañando el pelo. Vamos a tenerlo así mismo. Porque ustedes se van allá por 5 o 6 horas dejando que esa gente bregan con su pelo por 2 días o 3 días y entonces tienen que volver de nuevo para verificar qué pasó. Deja la tontería, habla con nosotros a verificar un sistema más mejor para su pelo y deja de estar usando los pelucas que sale más mejor.
I understand it, but I stuck at speaking it. Sound like a gringo.
Well, look here. We got about, I think if I see this correctly, we got about 5 more minutes before the puppy starts screaming.
Yeah.
And yes, we have a pup.
A big pup.
Okay. Our pup is a handful. Okay. And
he's a rescue, so he's a little needy. So
I was thinking about this. You know, for the followers out there, I'm gonna do a video or maybe a live. I'm not sure which one, about his journey as well. Because I believe that a lot of people out there understand the concept of giving, I want to say a second chance or a third chance to an animal that did not receive the attention or love or understanding that he had said.
Okay.
And I want to try to show the people, the followers, our subscribers, our loved ones from outside, how not only difficult and easy at the same time, just to see the joy from the animal.
He's giving you love emojis for your Spanish.
Thank you. I am Latino. Just in case. Boca Chica, for those that understand. And because one of the things about saving an animal, even as an animal has a restricted lifespan, the joy that animal brings to a family, it heightens the enjoyment amongst everybody. So when an animal, as in our situation, a dog, is happy, if you don't notice, they have these service dogs at airports to try to calm people down. There's a reason for that. They don't want nobody getting all antsy on the plane when it's midair. So if you're calm, you get on a plane, you're happy. Same thing with a boat. Okay. So the enjoyment of having an animal is something that's kind of hard to explain off the top of my head.
Well, it's gonna make that video.
Yeah, it's gonna be a video. It may be long, maybe short, maybe even a live. You know, I want the people to understand that, you know, we at Top to Bottom, our slogan is caring for the whole self. So caring for the whole self does include an animal, because the animal becomes part of the family, even though it's considered property, but it's, you know, technically it is part of the family. It has blood, it has heart, it has organs. It's part of the family. It's not property, because the car only has mechanical parts. So mechanical parts is property. Physical parts, as far as organs, is considered to me some form of a living thing. So that enjoyment that that living thing brings to the table is a wonderful aspect. And I want to share that journey or his journey with us, with our followers and our subscribers and all those that share the love that we have.
Okay.
So
That's so good.
that's something that's coming up. That's in the pipeline.
And
I
we
want to
have a
make it.
demonstration coming up too soon. So I have a little treat for you guys. So stay tuned about that. So when you get the notification, definitely look into that. For those who like to be handy and get a little creative or just watch people get creative. I got a little demonstration that I think you'll like.
I'm thinking we should introduce as well as we're going down our closing line right now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for those that want to get into it themselves,
Mm-hmm.
creating their own products.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to say creating their products so they can learn and or experience the joy and the heartaches of making, let's say, for example, a lotion or a shampoo, so they can understand what handmade is all about. I make candles,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and a lot of people fail to understand what the hot throw and the cold throw is. They don't, even down to when you're supposed to cut the actual wick.
Yeah,
They make all those mistakes, and then they're trying to figure out. They say, "Oh, is this a bad product?" No, your technique is the problem. You're not following the rules. You're not following the specifications. This is these standard operating procedures.
Your process.
You know,
The candle process. That'd be nice.
It would be.
Who would like to see that?
Listen,
thumbs up.
I'm all about teaching people things. Listen, I was with the SBA. For those that don't know what the SBA is a Small Business Association, which is tied to SCORE. These are two entities, rather, should I say, that teach people how to do businesses. I went to so many different schools, and I've received so many documented certifications,
yes,
licenses.
She liked to see that.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. And I liked it. I don't know if the right word or the phrase is teach.
Mm-hmm.
I like to empower people.
Yes, empower.
Okay, I don't like to teach you anything. I want to empower you, right? So all the information that's locked inside my head,
yes,
I want to share it with anybody and everybody who wants to learn it.
Okay.
Okay. So if it's something that I don't know, I'm going to let you know from the very beginning. I don't know it. I'm not going to research it, and I'm not going to talk about it. If it's something I know, you can best believe we're going to have hour-long, and I mean hours-long, long-winded, yes, conversations, English, Spanish. I don't do it in French because my French is a little choppy. Yet, I know for sure that there are going to be people that are going to enjoy it. I know for sure. Because people like to learn. And if you like to learn,
for those who like to learn, not everyone likes to learn.
I like to share some information. Because at the end of the day, guess what? It may be something I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the same time I don't know it, we'll sit down together and learn together. All right. So I'm gonna ask.
Dr. Linda said, "Love your lack of sugarcoating." Yes. No hair on his tongue. Absolutely not.
I'm gonna put it like this before we close out. The wife tells me constantly, "You have an Irish whisper," and then I just turn around and say it like this: if you do things correctly, you don't have to be offended by what I'm saying. Bottom line, if you're nervous when I'm talking to you, it's because you got something to hide. If you're uncomfortable with what I'm saying, it's because you're about to do something you're not supposed to do, and I already know you're about to do it. So don't do it. Real simple, like. It's just the way it is. And look, at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. You know, it's their story and it's your story, yet the truth is there. I had to learn the hard way. No matter how much I try to hide it, it always comes out. In a relationship, isn't in a relationship, right before we close, in a relationship, it's always been said.
You don't mention relationship.
What you do in the closet will come to light. So if it comes to lie,
Oh my God.
why is it that you're trying to hide in the first place? If it's gonna come to lie, it all depends on the person that's flipping the switch. Says, "I want to see."
Okay, countryman.
If she don't want to see it, he don't want to see it. They're gonna keep the light off. And why is that? Because they just don't want to be part of it. So they want to hide it. I ain't trying to hide it. Dang it, I ain't trying to hide it. I speak in my own language. And I speak in Spanish. I speak in English. I speak country. Hell, I even speak a lot Nigerian about
What
nature.
the hell is a Nigerian?
It is because it's the way it's supposed to be. We Nigerians speak the truth every single time. It is a major situation where you must understand what we are saying, so we speak exactly as it is.
And I'm the Nigerian, okay?
This is why we must understand what is being said. If you do not understand it, then it's best for you to pull out the books. Stop using Google. Google has a robot telling you what it is. Pull out the book and read it for yourself. It is much better that way. A los que no entienden que yo estoy diciendo, deja de estar mirando al Google, que el Google tiene un robot diciendo las cosas como es.
Ay, Ricky.
Vean, verificarlo con los libros antes. La página, dale con la página y la letra que está diciendo que es. Real simple. Right? So, with that being said, I got a puppy that's calling me. And unfortunately, the puppy is right behind the wife. When it says move, I move. So, like the song says, you move, I move.
Just
Let's
like
go.
that.
Just like that.
Thank
With that,
you.
everybody,
Thank you so much for
appreciate
coming
y'all.
out and hearing our talk. It was impromptu, and we just wanted to, just share these things that was on our mind.
Please understand, we have it on
Share,
the YouTube side.
Thumbs up,
like, share. Listen.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Love your support, Dr. Minda. Really appreciate it.
One of the biggest things I don't understand is this. Sharing, liking, and subscribing is all free. So why is it that people don't like doing it? If you got a channel, even on my Twitch side, on the gaming side, we have on the gaming side,
Yeah, I support it.
I am following so many gamers as well. They following my stuff, and I put other stuff up there, and they welcome it. They don't mind it. So here's the thing: it's because at the end of the day, the information is being shared. It's just like the same way you walk down the street and someone's talking and you start ear hustling. It's information.
Keep watching those demonstrations. It'll be coming up. Maybe do one tomorrow, if anything. We'll see.
Thank you, Doctor. Many blessings to you. May everything work out moving forward for you. May you rest well. Yes. Everybody else who's watching and listening, I thank you. We thank you.
And those on the replay, thank you very much.
Replays is always appreciated. Share it everywhere you can. Listen, at the end of the day, it's all about love, happiness, and sharing and empowering. We're here to empower.
Thank you.
All right?
All right.
Hugs and kisses, everybody. Thank you. Have a nice night.
Good night.
And 3, and 2, and 1.